have to make sure that you're trading, you're taking proper map control if necessary, and make sure you're playing off of each other. You can't just have one guy doing whatever. And I hope that doesn't come in, because if we're just going to watch, 16 rounds or more of just someone running in, dying, and they will just go, hey, you're not walking after him. And then, they have a little bit of delay, then they wander in gradually one by one, die. It's going to be very frustrating. For me, at least anyway. But not even started. I want to see these teams, both of them, not just Sussex Sharks as the newer team, but both teams playing together as a team. This is CSGO, it's a team game, and I'd like to see that, even if it is a slightly more puggy map, they've got to stick together and know what each other are doing.
Yeah, and on the kind of teams where you have one player popping off and 4 players that kind of sit around and act almost as nothing within. We've seen before in Swiss games before. We've seen kind of smaller teams sometimes attempt to do that. They've got one very, very good player. They then try and play this. I mean, still with teamwork, they're still trying to bait themselves and help the kind of better player kind of get those kills and assist him in his movement. At this point, you need to all be firing on all cylinders. So hopefully that's what we see here, is everybody all going for it. Everybody's working together. We see players, even if one person's having a game, the trades start having a bad game, I should say. He decides to then be traded off instead of this kind of thing where teams just tactically don't know how to adapt. And I think, again, that adaptive nature is something that's incredibly important at this stage in Newell, is being able to say, okay, something has happened. We're not just going to stick to our game plan. We're going to change it.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. And as you were saying, like obviously with the one player kicking in and just kicking off, all I can think of, one of the players that came to mind was Whiffin, WFN, right? Because I remember on Mirage, him just dropping like a 31 or more, and there was, I'm pretty sure there's like 1 or 2 guys with like 8 kills or something. I may be wrong, and I'm not trying to slag anyone off, but like, as I said, at this level, you can have a guy just going absolutely ham, but if no one else is carrying their weight or even like trying to sort of help out somewhat, you'll get turned around and thrown out the window. It's not going to happen. So I do hope that they do come out with this. Allegedly, again, going for off info from what Sussex Sharks have told us, one of the guys is newbie. I don't know what that means. So that may be just quite new to high-level CS, or maybe just quite new to CS. I'm assuming not, since he's on the first team. But it's something quite interesting. I won't say who, as we'll find out, I guess. Maybe he'll just drop a 40 bomb. Maybe he'll just kind of dribble on the floor. We'll find out. But it is going to be interesting to see quite how they play. Because I guess another point, quite a few of these players I don't think I've seen before. Well, the majority at least, if not all of them. So fresh faces is always welcome.
Very welcome, and very fun to see just teams making their way through the ranks. Like I said, players rotating, it keeps Newell fresh. It's what makes this such an exciting competition. It's how we get to kind of move forward, I guess, and progress every year. You don't generally see the same teams winning every time. This maybe not been true for a couple of seasons because UWC Stags have been so unbelievably dominant. They've looked very, very strong, but eventually they'll go. Eventually you will see newer teams come through, and this is the start of it with Sussex Sharks. So exciting to see, exciting that we get to see them tonight for the first time, exciting that it's us two casting again. There's a lot that's happening that I'm very excited about tonight, and frankly, I cannot wait to get into the game.
Neither can I. Neither can I. Eventually, when it does come, I believe we're waiting on possibly a few players, maybe just one player. Yeah, very excited to get into it. It's looking to be good, honestly. It really is. In terms of strats, I guess, trying to go into that, right? Overpass. Knife round, I guess. You're going to be deciding who chooses what rounds, what half they choose. But that, as we said, that is the knife round. So we will be going live relatively soon, if not right now, as they are getting right into it. It's been very exciting. Any predictions on, last minute predictions, I guess? Who do you think is going to win? What's the score?
I love being put on the spot like this. I think that
I know you do.
I think that probably Lancaster, half Natty head tappers. They're established talent. They all look good. We've seen Mainslayer before. I believe we've seen Drop before as well. These are it's a known quantity. They're very solid. They took UWE to 3 overtimes. There really is no reason to.
I'm going to go for Sussex Sharks Black. And, well, they do get absolutely ruined on the knife round, but I'm still going to believe. I'm sure that they can take it. We've seen quite a few lovely plays out of quite a few of the nice players, so, you know what? I reckon they can take it. I reckon they can take it. Maybe 16-13, that's my guess. I may be entirely wrong, but we'll find out very soon as we do get into the game relatively soon, at least, as they do warm up temporarily.
I think, as well, to go with the underdog isn't too bad a thing anymore after what we saw in the major, where it was essentially underdog after underdog for the entire event, really. So, you know, I could be proved very wrong. We could continue on the Brazilian trend and you know, see a team that no one was expecting kind of make it the entire way, or not many people were expecting, let's be honest, except for, of course, our Lord and Savior, James. But I think that...
Savior, eh?
Very
Saber.
much, yeah. But that kind of passive play style. Hopefully, we see that here as well. People saving a little bit. But as we wait for the game to start, and our console comes up as well, you would hope that these teams might ready up a little bit quicker, knowing that we've got the suspense of everywhere. There we go. That's what we want to see. Now we finally get into it, everybody. Our new winter Swiss stage round 5 finally begins. Me and Aunt Pulio. All armor picked up for every single player except GWS, who grabs a flash.
Love it. I see a flash. Actually, you did drop P250 as well. Or was it two P250s? Dropped across to Treemeister and Vexed, which is always nice to see. A little bit of damage, a bit of a scare to the CTs, knowing that, well, the Ts can certainly take long-range fights now as they do flash out onto long. A bit of fight being taken by Drop. Spots at least 2 guys, and isn't actually falling back. He's sticking around with the P2K, looking to hold the angle, and he'll just go down to GWS. Glocked right in the face as Mainslayer sticking around as well, not quite yet fallen back to sight, and this could be a good position to hold, actually, from Toilets. Blitz on the site, meanwhile, doing a lot of damage, getting 1 kill and a bit more, but eventually goes down. The rest of the team is running into the site, and they're not dead yet. They've got a man advantage. Rogue sitting in the dumpster, trying to do what he can to stop them, but he can't prevent the plants. Now it's him in a 1v3, and he's surrounded, getting 1 kill at least, looking to push forward and find the second. He knows where the third is, but doesn't have enough time, and he will just go down to GWS. A nice set of kills out of him, 4 in fact, and quite a quick pistol round there.
Surprising that kind of just lingering in the long toilets. I really didn't expect that fight to stay with the P2K, but apparently they did, and instantly I believe we just lost a player. So I think probably we're going to see a timeout, you would think, because there's only 4 players in the server, right, for the CTs. Are you seeing this?
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Yep, only 2. Ooh.
Very good. So just as quickly as we get started, we get to talk about the pistol round just a little bit longer and kind of think about that one. But I'm really surprised that P2K stood around in the toilets for so long. Felt like a little bit of a strange decision, especially with Mainslayer holding kind of in that longer position for so long, or longer position in the longer angle, watching into mid. Kind of surprised that he didn't assist in his teammate leaving there. Staying around, taking the 1 versus 1 is already bad enough. That actually being a 1 versus 3 makes it a 1 versus 4 even makes it a little bit worse, right? So I kind of, the team play that we were talking about, half Natty head tappers, immediately kind of didn't do that in that situation. But there's not all that much to talk about outside of it, because the retake was almost non-existent. The steamroll from Sussex Sharks.
Which you really didn't expect. Like, not from the team, but just their Glocks running up long, and all the CTs are sat quite securely on the site. And then they just get smacked in the face by Glocks, which is, yeah, good to see. I guess it's very good to see. A very good start from Sussex Sharks Black. And I think one thing that you could possibly attribute it to, Drop sticking around, obviously, was perhaps overconfidence, right? He thinks, or he knows he's a good player, not thinks, he is a very good player. Played a lot, got a lot of experience, thinks, you know what, I can take these guys on, and doesn't get a kill. Goes down with absolutely nothing to show for it. So perhaps we'll have to see if it does continue, if he does want to go for confident plays, aggressive plays, and trying to take this fight, or if he does sort of peter off a bit. I don't know if that's quite his play style, but we'll certainly see if that does stick around for a bit longer to come, as he does, well, push forward, gets a deagle kill, but only 1. The trade from Siren does come in, pushing through with a Mac 10, and he doubles up, gets the second, spots out the third, but he does get taken down by Rogue, who's alive for much longer to see the results.
Player flanking, though, from Monster might be able to catch a little quick kill if he does manage to get any luck on his side, but the swing comes at just the wrong time. Still manages to get the spray down with the deagle. A one shot to the body. GWS goes down. The nade goes down on short. Nading as well, just trying his absolute hardest to maybe pick one up. The bomb in a really difficult position. Neither of these players have kits. The armor is not actually that good, and the Molotov is pretty much going to seal that one for Sussex Sharks. Vex picking up 2 kills. Well, a little bit of a dicey round considering the half buy from half Natty, but Sussex Sharks, they do manage to make it stick, and they take it to 2-0.
Not a bad round at all from both teams, to be honest, right? Not half Natty head tappers, certainly tapping some heads there, getting a lot of damage done and making it costly for Sussex. And it's not a bad attempt, considering they had deagles and armor. They did go full in with their buy as much as they could have, which isn't great, but well, they're certainly looking to do some damage on this round with basically nothing. Just a few USPs, a few pistols, but they are eventually getting mowed down. They're slightly wary initially, but now it's just Rogue left. They know exactly where he is. They know he's standing on the fountain. He might be able to try and get a gun. But if Sussex are smart, they'll try and, or I hope would have at least thrown them away. As the bomb does get planted, the round is all but over, and essentially all Rogue can do is try and save a gun, and he will. He's got the Gallo now. Actually finds a second Gallo in the smoke, and he'll just run away to hide. Smart choice, not a bad find, considering they didn't really invest much into it, so can't fault him too much.
Surprised that Sussex got caught out by that, to be honest. I mean, a push down middle with weapons like that is really quite standard. Surprised that they weren't watching for it. To get that many kills is very good, and well, to make it 3 kills is even better. I mean, the money is actually not looking that great for Sussex Sharks because they've lost so many players on both of these rounds. With 3 players dying on each one, doesn't matter that the bomb's going to go off. Doesn't mean anything when you're winning the round. And so 3,500 on GWS isn't a great amount of money. At least Vex does pick up that kill. A Galil lost. Not sure what that does at the end of the day for half Natty. I'm sure they would have been buying M4s anyway. So I think just damages the utility a tiny amount. I mean, you can see that Psyduck is only getting 3 nades instead of the classic 4. Mainslayer as well, only with 3. So ultimately, at the end of the day, interesting that not much really happened in that one. Sussex Sharks calling a timeout, though, just to, I think, a player leaving. I don't believe that was actually a genuine tactical, which, once again, Ant, we're a full, 8 months on, and I'm still going to get really mad about the fact that people don't call tactical timeouts enough.
Well, we'll have to see. Maybe they will call one in this game. Someone will call it appropriately. You never know. It's a new team, or Sussex is at least. Maybe they've been yelled at enough. They've watched a few streams, a few VODs, and they think, you know what? Maybe we should use one of our 4 tactical timeouts. Maybe they'll think that. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. As we do get into the 4th round, and actually, despite being 3-0, the economic damage done by the CT side is very good, because now Sussex are a lot weaker, and they're even more weaker, with Mainslayer getting 2 kills just like that. So much map control lost by the D side. They can't even get out into the playground, and, well, 2 players down this round. It's not quite over, but it certainly had a massive dent put into it by the CT side, and it may just get worse, especially with Blitz creeping up very, very close.
Mainslayer has had an absolute round and a half, and we're only 40 seconds in. He looked very strong there, and has essentially shut down Sussex Sharks completely within the first 50 seconds. I mean, they've got no A control, and half Natty now know exactly where they can be. Sussex are completely isolated in this position, and Rogue makes it even more of an advantage as Siren goes down. Psyduck swings wide, drop as well, picks it up with the AUE. And well, half Natty, they pick up the first round, and deservedly so. They absolutely penned in the Sussex Sharks, and we know that Sharks, they can't really be penned in. They don't do too well in aquariums, Ant.
Sharks don't do too well in aquariums. Oh, okay, yeah, I mean, well, yes, they don't, actually. I mean, assuming off of, I mean, in the water, yes, I was thinking, like, you know, on land they don't do too well, but that was my, what was going on in my brain, but, yeah, no, in aquariums, they don't last too long at all, and especially when they're just thrown up on land, and it looks like that's exactly what is going to happen. They're charging through the smoke, straight into a bloodbath on me. Not a single kill found. Eventually, GWS takes down Psyduck, but Rogue with the pistol will eventually finish him off, using 1 player, not even letting him get the bomb plant. That's almost a perfect round from half-back head tappers. Nice defense, solid.
vindicated, very vindicated, that within the first 5 rounds, everything I said about the map bans has come true. We've seen Molotovs going deep on A. We've seen Sussex Sharks rush onto B. And we've seen Half Natty work together as a team. It's beautiful. I love that I can predict these off of a couple of very quick things. But, well, Testing VN will be pretty happy with the damage that he's done with the Scout. And, well, GWS is going to be happy with the kill on drop. That's an AWP dropped, in fact, as GWS ramming his way up a banana with a teammate, going to hopefully open up this A bomb site. They know that players are on long. They're going to be watching for it. GWS swing into it. GWS misses the shot. Vex is left in a 1 versus 2 on the site. Picks one of the heads off very, very quickly. Looking on towards the barrels too, but loses out against Rogue. Swings a little bit too wide while Crouch gives away his full body. And quickly turns into a 3 versus 2. But with 1 minute on the clock, the T side certainly still have a chance.
This is what I'm looking for, right? They're a newer team. Cause chaos. Just run through. So they got the kill on the AWP and just continued. They just didn't stop. They threw down the smokes, and perhaps that was the fault, right? That they did stop. Eventually, just kind of slowing down. They had the guy sitting at the plant bot, and he didn't really help out his teammate. Didn't hold the angle, and eventually, got 1 kill, lovely, but eventually just kind of slowed down and got taken out. And now, well, the T side are at a man disadvantage. 1 player actually leaving, but Testing's found an AWP, the AWP that was dropped earlier, and this could be very handy if they get this kill here on A. That's the site opened up, even if it's a trade. It's certainly quite beneficial as they can get the plant, and Testing is looking and waiting for it, but Main Slayer's not giving it to him. He's waiting for Siren to push, and Siren certainly does push. 10 seconds left on the clock, and he will run. Trying to keep a hold of the AWP, and be very careful as they're actually looking to chase him down, checking the corners, but it doesn't seem like they will get to him. Main Slayer's very intent on finding him, but not within the end of the round. A nice AWP found, but well, not what you want for a full buy, right? You want a bit more than that. But very nice. Good potential coming out from Sussex Sharks. So this was against a fully bought half Natty head tappers. And it certainly could have gone the other way. It could have just turned on a dime.
I think, as well, a little bit of a faux pas in that the T side took the bomb in first. So when the player died, there wasn't even the ability to really fake that they were going to potentially push towards the A site. I know there are only 10 seconds left, but it just helps to maybe have a little bit less information for the CT side, just to keep that kind of on you. I know that the AWP was the one that was watching from deep range, and I understand why they've done it, but it does mean that if one of the players does die, there isn't really a trade potential. But ow, that miss. That is a big miss. Main Slayer gets his head torn off by the almighty Glock. Treemeister drop continually missing with this AWP. Finally does get one, but it's been really quite dicey for him in this position. The no-scope, he goes for it, misses it. GWS does get the kill, but the AWP has been lost. I take that back. It's picked up instantly. Blitz does save it for his teammate. And Half Natty head tappers, they jump ahead out.
They do. Not too bad from Sussex Sharks. They had an AWP and, get 2 kills of it, trying to keep Half Natty modest, which is, it's what you've got to do right at this level. You've got to, even if you're losing rounds, you've got to keep the economy close. If not, I mean, you've lost the half, right? And at the moment, it's not fantastic. Rogue does have 11k, and Blitz, is running through the fire, down very low, but still alive. Will drop Vexed, and that is 2-man disadvantage already. I think it's a late join. If I missed it, but only 3 players left, and Treemeister now tagged down relatively low. It's not a great start, especially with drop going forward and even further on, but he's got off by Siren. Blitz catches off Testing, and it's just chaos everywhere. Only a smoke separating Main Slayer and his opponent, but he's down low to 13 HP, and with a headshot, that will seal the deal. 2-on-2. The A bomb site. Sussex don't know it, but it's theirs.
They don't know it, and it could buy valuable time for Half Natty head tappers. I think that potentially taking just a little bit too long. Sussex continually taking the 1 versus 1s and actually working out the way that they're doing it. Not that time, though, as Sidak does get Treemeister, a play that was already low. Siren left in a 1 versus 2. Make that a 1 versus 1 as Blitz goes down, runs away just to play on the retake. Playing quite smart here as he gets a little bit close, hoping that Sidak pushes forward, hoping that potentially he gets something. Sidak spots him and does notice that the player's there, but Siren gets the kill. Sidak goes down. Sussex make it 4, and well, I wasn't expecting that continuing, considering the situation they were in.
Yeah, honestly, 2 rounds ago, You wouldn't say this in the slightest, especially after that first buy-in from Half Natty. Like, that was just a train going through, and then Sussex go, you know what? Let's just tip the train. If it's sideways, it can't go. And that's perfect thinking. As you said, they're taking the 1-on-1 fights, Half Natty losing out on that, and if you've got Sussex just being so aggressive, winning the fights, winning the trades, and as you saw there, Siren with a 3k, just hitting his shots, there's not much you can do it. You can play better and even hit your own shots, but with GWS doing things like that, it's going to be sore for Half Natty unless they, well, change up. And it's certainly not happening anytime soon. So the Jug looking to push through A. A bit of a change instead of out of the road. He's now in connection. He'll get 2 kills, which does level the playing field, but Drop is directly behind him. Fakes the door shut. Well, actually, does shut the door, but doesn't go through it. And now he's going back, and that is such a smart play. But he goes with the no-scope and misses it in an odd style. And now they know he's here. And that the information should be relayed to Siren, so he's got to be careful here. But GWS is just so good. Just wins that fight, and I say that, he does get dropped by Mainslayer. Trades back and forth, and at least looking another one to come soon. This is once again a one-on-one with 50 seconds left on the clock. Psyduck versus Siren.
It's another rematch, and Siren wins it again. Psyduck once again loses out. 2 rounds in a row, it's been Psyduck versus Siren, and well, Siren always the better player. It seems Sussex Sharks, they've got a man to rely on in the 1 versus 1s. Half Natty head tappers fall behind once again.
Just, yes, I love it. Genuine chaos, and they're making use of it despite the change up, the extended, connected control. Sussex just still make it work. They make it work in time. I think that was a bit of a misplay from Jock there, trying to go for that no-scope. He could have had time. Obviously, he's a much better player than me, and he's going to do what he thinks is best. But if that kill was there, if he got that kill, if it was guaranteed, they probably would have won that round, most definitely. But either way, the round is over. The next round is started and it's way underway. Mainslayer will get 2 kills, but Vex and Siren, they strike immediately back. It's a 3-on-3. Again, quite quickly into the round. Siren is on the B bomb site, causing mass panic for the CTs as Blitz is pushed through connector. He's now quite deep in, and the T's look to go for a bit of a B push, but they could be the ones being wrapped. GWS wins another fight, but drops him. And now they've got a player on the site and a player on short, and Sussex have absolutely no idea.
Oh, that's a dodgy spray. Siren gets the kill, but Blitz comes in and saves his team from embarrassment at the last. That was close. That was not the best spray we've ever seen on stream, but lucky that he was bailed out of it, because that was, very, very close to being one of the ones that you clip and say, ooh, that's how you don't play around. But Half Natty, they do end up winning, and they do actually push Sussex Sharks onto a bit of an eco round. Vex, the one player that has a deagle, and Vex already dead. GWS actually as well, and Testing Vienna both got deagles. Same with Treemeister. You know what? 4 out of the 5 players have deagles. There's only 1 with a Tech 9, so not too big of a loss. There's no players with armor either. So Sussex Sharks just trying to potentially pull something out of the hands of Half Natty head tappers. And just a little bit of a fun fact for you. If only 2 of these CT players die, they will be able to buy a little bit more. So if 3 people live, they'll be able to buy, and their economy will grow just a little bit. If 3 players die, they're going to be looking very dicey. The money starts to disappear when 3 of your team die, especially on the CT side, where the economy is just a little bit more fragile, especially as well looking at Psyduck with an MP9. You've got Rogue with a FAMAS. Half Natty will be in a worse position next round if they don't have 3 players at least survive in this one. And well, they're actually pushing the advantage a little bit with Blitz pushing in behind.
This could work out beautifully or terribly. He can just walk around, they see him just out of pure timing, nail him, take the gun. Oh, that's absolutely nothing gained. Or he could have the absolutely masterful flank coming in and completely ruin the attack. And so far, that looks like it was what he's going to do. He gets 1 kill, forces the T's in forward, and straight into Drop's loving arms. He gets a nice, simple 3k, beautiful spray. Certainly makes up for the round previously. And yeah, they keep 5 alive. That's exactly what they needed to do. Certainly give their economy a bit of a bolster.
A big bolster, really. The players now on $2,000 rather than $0 like they were before. And some good money. Testing, sat here with his AUE. Once again, the Molotov comes through and stops them from peeking in. Mainslayer continuing to push. He doesn't. He's not had enough. He always wants to be pushing in. This time, He does have an AUE waiting for him, which he's aware of. He hears the nade come through and does manage to swap it round. Vex actually helping with the flash through, gets a headshot on Blitz. And that flash assist on his own teammate does end up not being the worst in the world, as they do end up going 2 for 1 in terms of trades. And, well, half Natty head tappers being this many people down so early is something they're not going to be too happy with.
Yeah, not very happy at all. But 2 of the players around half HP on the T side. So the CT can certainly go for some multi-kills. We've literally just seen it the round before. Drop can go for those multi-spray downs. He may do it again, but he can't. Not quite. Only damage found. And Treemeister and Vex are just absolutely on one. Lovely headshot coming out of Vex. Psyduck is the last live. And he will find 1 kill, finishing off Vex on long. And the bomb plant will be halted temporarily as he jumps up. And that's the wrong play to make. Luckily for Treemeister, testing there with your able to trade him, because that could have got quite awkward quite quickly if they had to get to the side, cross to it, pick up the bomb plant in a 2v1. Not a bad attempt from Psyduck, but unfortunately for him, 4 guys, that's a bit too much. And, well, the T's, they do finally get around back, and they're just looking good. And as you said, about the economy, the TTs, they're now dropped down to pistols, and they can cause damage with it, but it's, again, not ideal. Not at all. You can see what they can do with all the utility, with the mollies, with the nades, and if they don't have that utility, which is certainly a very key aspect of the game, it's going to be a bit weak. As I say that, Blitz does get 1, almost 2 kills with the Deagle, which, it's not something you can snort at.
Certainly not, and the damage that's being done, both of these teams have very fragile economies just by the amount of kills that they're getting against each other. They're so aggressive, half Natty, and Sussex every time are pushing. I don't know if you've noticed, every time they get entries towards one of the sites, they go to the site they've got the entries on. They rarely rotate to the other site. They usually say, you know what, we've got the kills on A, let's just go A. And so, because of this, half Natty are just rotating onto the A site, and Sussex are losing a lot more players. Meanwhile, half Natty, they're peeking into middle every round, and so they're often losing a lot of players as well. So both of these teams have not very much in terms of money testing with the quickscope on drop. That's nice to see, but both of these teams don't have that much money in a way that really makes this game very much a war of attrition.
Ooh, again, that got so dicey, but luckily for Sussex, Treemeister is on the ball, nails both of them with some lovely, lovely shots. And this is what we said about some of these Sussex players. They can just go off on one, and they certainly are. They're just hitting absolutely nut shots sometimes. And half Natty, not always looking so sharp. Obviously, Blitz has got quite a few kills, 12 kills, but I think it was 2 rounds ago, he swung out and he didn't look hot to it because he got immediately annihilated by both guys just staring at him, didn't even fire off a shot. And Drop tries to get aggressive, and that is the wrong move to make. Testing gets the better of him, shuts him down, and that's a man advantage already in favour of the T's. Looking very hot and very ready to trot as they look to push forward. And it's actually a bit of a save situation. I say save, a stack situation. As there's now, well, it was 2 guys across to B. As I say that, Blitz does come back across to A, looking to be the sole defender. And I think it's a bit of a wrong move, right? It's not the last round yet, but if he goes down, then it's Psyduck trying to save by himself. But 1v5 on a site, that's going to be a hard, well, action to pull off. A very hard defense. Sure. He does sit in the corner, and this is sort of a one-and-done position. He can't even get one. Spray's bad. Treemeister takes him down, and the round is over.
Psyduck's still going for it, though. He's still rotating up, still looking for kills. Not sure why these half-natty head tappers are so, I don't know, driven to just maintain the A bomb site. They don't like losing it. They continue pushing in. The save, not something that even hits their heads. And, well, you'd think maybe they want to just so that next round they have 1 weapon rather than 0, but still Psyduck continues pushing in through bank. He's going to catch somebody now, does actually get the kill on GWS, but giving away his position. And, well, considering the money on Sussex Sharks, they maybe shouldn't even go for this, but Psyduck doesn't really know that. He's not aware of just how poor the economy is for the T side. He doesn't know it. I don't really know why he's still looking around, but Vex finally punishes him. Sussex Sharks, they get the 8th round. They've won the half at least. It just depends whether it's 8-7 or 9-6. And half-natty head tappers, now they're an M4 down going into the final round. They've got MP9s, they've got Scouts, they've got Deagles. I'm not sure why Psyduck has gone so hard on that.
Yeah, that's odd choices. Like, that's the difference which separates, you know, real good teams. When I say real good teams, just smart teams, right? Like, I don't know why you're not saving it. As I said, it's now the last round, so they're obviously going to force. And if they had both of those M4s, they wouldn't have to have Drop and Rogue on Deagle. So it'd still be a decent round, but the lack of any sort of a good rifle it's certainly very damning towards their chances. I say this, they'll just immediately just whack a load of headshots out of nowhere. You know, they are half Natty head tappers, and they'll just nail the round. But plays like that may just come through. Mainsley getting a double, almost a triple, but the AK does come out on top. 3-on-3. It's certainly not dead just yet with drop it. Sneaking around the back. This is it's dicey.
Oh no! Oh, this is going to be so bad for them. They get the AUE. At least the bombs managed to get away, but that is not good. Siren does manage to get the kill on side act 2. There are now 2 players either side of them, Sussex, and well, we've seen the way that they commit in the past. They're definitely going to be committing to this site. Blitz is there with the scout. There's a player coming in behind with the AUE as well. The kill comes down on Siren. Now it's all in the hands of Vex, the 1 versus 2, but the player's coming in from Monster. It's planted in just the right position to not die to this. He drops down into the water, but he doesn't realize the player's coming in behind. The timing just on his side as he pushes forward. He knows the player's coming in behind now. He hears that nobody's coming. He pushes up, the Tech 9 in hand, hoping that maybe he's going to get one of them, but looking just over the smoke. Manages to get the kill. Half Natty head tappers with a very positive end to the half after a little bit of a dodgy middle. And I think they will be very pleased considering the weaponry that they had.
I told you. I'd said that they're going to prefer the rifles and they immediately just go and win it with Deagles. And I say Deagles, it was more about the timing entirely, right? I don't know quite how drop slipped through. I'm assuming it was through connector. And that's, I guess, where it comes through. That Sussex, bit of a newer team. They're not quite so locked down. Like, they're not playing default, but they're also not committing an execute. They're just kind of in this middle range where there's gaps in the defense, which is obviously cost them around, at least 1 round. But also, that's what you can say, really. Like, they've got gaps and they may lose rounds because of that. But we'll have to see what they can bring out on the CT side. They do have a very unique strat coming out. 4 guys in connector, 1 guy on B. And they hit quite a few steps. 4 guys, in fact, all coming through A and making a lot of noise. 4 guys stuck in connector. This is going to be very difficult to get out of.
Very difficult indeed as they're being mowed down. Drop gets 2, testing gets 1, but at the end of the day, the players are all wrapped in on half Natty head tappers. Take advantage of what can only be described as a bit of a bizarre pistol round from Sussex Sharks. Very surprising that they decided to throw so many players in towards connector. And half Natty have not stopped with their aggression. They're playing exactly the same on T side as they did on CT. The same. It's the same pushes. It's the same aggression. It's the same levels of push that we're seeing. The Tech 9s, the Glocks rather, are all working for them. Drop goes down to a very nice little USB left-right swing round from one of these players. Dreammeister does eventually go down, and testing left in a 1 versus 4. There is Rogue on 3 HP, but I would be surprised if Rogue does end up falling into his clutches. He's just probably going to be sat in here the whole round, I think, Ant, as the players kind of start looking towards him. I take it very much back. He's been fully spotted and now probably hoping the players walk in, and he does get away with it. He does. Blitz goes down to the Zeus kill. You love to see one of those a game. It's just as good as a knife kill, just gives you half as much money. Or not even half. It gives you basically nothing.
Funny though, isn't it?
It is funny.
It's quite funny. Like, that's going to be in his mind. Even if he's like, oh, I've got, is it Blitz? He's got 13 kills. Even if he's like, you know what, I'm 3rd of my team. I'm good. I've got a positive KD. We're now winning. It's just going to be in his mind like, I got paid. My bloke made that funny noise. You know, it's going to be in there. But we'll have to see if he can just, you know, shrug it off and continue to play. I believe he can. It'll be fine. It's probably happened plenty of times. As we do get into the first proper buy round from Sussex. And it's 5 M4s. 1 M4 A4, slightly unconventional now, as is mostly dominated by M4 A1Ss. But Drop does kick it off with a nice kill onto Vexed, with Yorp taking down him at toilets and testing. He's just watching the smoke. Mainslayer going through it. Very ballsy move, doesn't pay off. Bit silly, really. And he's got off. That equalizes the team. Testing tried to get away, and he does. Just about almost gets a haircut, but he will remain alive.
Ooh, that was very close. No flashes to assist from his team, and now he's going into a corner that 100% is being checked. It turns into a 1 versus 1, and Blitz wins that out. He's 100% prepared for the corner. GWS getting tagged as well from the players on short. Side Act does eventually get that kill, and half Natty head tappers, they've managed to get the A site. Sussex Sharks, 2 players left alive, the A4 and the A1, and they're just bowing out of this round already, saving such a quick and aggressive push from half Natty. And well, Sussex Sharks, they're absolutely nowhere near. There's no players really in positions to trade one another. There are opposite sides. They're not close. There's nobody that can swing, and maybe, there's not even any assist with nades. It's so far away, and well, a very good advantage taken by the half natty head tappers.
I think that's, as you said about before, like, as not as much, not experienced enough playing together. So they had the guy, I can't think who it was it was testing, right? Watching the smoke in toilets. But instead of falling back through toilets, went around long, okay, fair enough. But then he's sitting in the corner, as you said, it's going to be checked. He could have won that fight, would have been great, but obviously he didn't. But then the guys swung wide and no one's traded. As you said, the other defender on the site, nice goal at the end there from Siren, he's sitting at the truck. So he can't swing out from the ball position and get the trade on long. Yeah, exactly. He can't even do that. Whereas if they were, playing perhaps a bit more dynamically, he knew he was going to rotate around long. He could have tried to hold it, in a double fashion, and then still could have held the toilet position. But he didn't. And well, perhaps that's just small things picking apart. But that's small things that could have led to a round win. Even if he didn't get that kill, he could have got a trade back. Could have made it more feasible. Could have bought extra time. Could have done a util and perhaps won the round. But all hypothetical scenarios and situations as we get into the 19th round, and it's not looking great for Sussex. They do lose testing early on, but testing, Vex, and EWS all have pistols. But, well, Rogue and Drop doesn't really matter too much for them as they both get taken down. A nice boost coming out. You don't see it too much, or you to a degree, but usually it's checked, and unfortunately for him it wasn't. He didn't check it. Not quite on the ball, and he does go down. 3-on-3 now, though, as they do approach the A bomb site. Just Treemeister here, and he's going to go big, and he does. That's first, looking for the second. Can't quite finish him off, but he's on to 12 HP. Certainly makes it somewhat easier. GWS has found an AK as well. As the bomb does get planted, they've got a 2-man pincer coming on.
I think we might have just seen the 88-4 live on screen there from Sussex Sharks. Either that or an 88-3. It's got to feel bad either way, and really a real reason to use the M4A1S. GWS, though he's not stopping. That's 1 versus 2, turns into a 1 versus 1. Mainslayer hiding in the corner. Well, it's really turned into a very quick retake in that it's ended abruptly. Sussex Sharks, they do not win the round, and well, further commiserations for them as half natty head tappers continue their 100% streak in the second half.
To get around on the board on that CT side, as you said, it was very, very close, and again, they certainly could have taken it, but not quite that final piece of the puzzle coming together to get them that win, and it should be coming soon. That certainly would help as testing sting around, but he misses the second shot, and you can't miss that. You've got to hit those, and eventually he does. Third time lucky, takes down a different player. Mainslayer being dropped to 2-man advantage and made into 3 by Treemeister, looking so much better this round, coming into it with a fiery fury, looking to finally get their first round. Psyduck and Blitz, the last 2 players live on the T side, and Blitz trying to nade that boost position, but nothing's found. Psyduck finds only death. Bullet from testing shuts him down, and the final T left alive. He's got a lot on his shoulders to try and do. And they have a lot of money if you actually look at it. They're completely wiped out, which is lovely for the CT side, but they're not going to be able to buy. Mainslayer's got 6k. All the rest of them are pretty in the dirt. 3 under 2k. It's not looking great in terms of money.
Yeah, Psyduck needs to put more in his savings. That's really not very much money for him. They are still going to buy, which is... I guess they were on a force anyway, right? Psyduck on 1,400, Drop was on about 1,700. It was very much a force buy round for them anyway. But considering they've won 4 of the the second round, with the second half rounds, very surprising that it's gone in that way. Vexed, I think, is going to get an absolutely stellar nade in here and swings wide. Does only end up getting 1. Both of these players are low. Doesn't really help the AUPA, who continues to miss a couple of shots. Does manage to get 1 in the end, but Drop rips the head off from close range. Now has the AUPA in hand. And, well, only 30 HP doesn't matter so much anymore when you've got the AUPA. It's a 1-shot kill. You shouldn't really be taking damage at this point unless GWS is the one able to swing wide and maybe pick 1 up. It does slow down just a little bit, turns around at just the wrong time, moves away at just the wrong time. At least his teammate's there to trade him. Treemeister picks the kill up on Mainslayer eventually, after a bit of a protracted kill period, drop the 1 player that's left in the 1 versus 2. 30 HP, as I said before. The bomb finally starting to go down. Treemeister just watching this thinks it might be a fake. Because both players are coming from pretty similar areas, Drop might be able to turn this into 2 1 versus 1s. Might not be Expecting both players to peek him like this, does actually end up getting the kill on Siren. It is 2-1 versus 1s. Drop sees the player around the square, gonna look for another kill. Goes for the no-scope, not actually gonna get anything as the player jumps off at the wrong time. They're looking the wrong way. Treemeister working around the cube, does get the kill on Drop, and well, the bomb gonna be defused, but that was very mighty close from Sussex Sharks, who coming from 2 different angles in the same area. End up making it 2 1v1s. That's not very good for them, considering you can trade. When a player has an AWP, it's very easy for both of them to just go right next to each other and just one just fires one bullet in, and that's the round. But they make it harder for themselves. They do still end up winning, but at the loss of 4 lives.
Yeah, it's a good point. The fact that they, I guess they didn't know he had the AWP, right? They should have expected it. Then he had a deagle and killed an AWPer. But coming from 2 different angles, as you say, that's pretty bit of a silly mistake to make. You know that he's going to be, well, trying to trade, so not the best. Alas, the round occurs, and Sussex Sharks do just about hold on. Ooh. And they continue to hold on as Testing is finally hitting his shots. He's got 2 kills already in the round. Doesn't get faked out by that, stands around a bit too long, but still gets the kill, gets his 3rd, looking for his 4th. Hoping to nail it, and he doesn't quite. May have another chance at it, but he doesn't. Mainslayer just nails him, trying to flee, gets shot in the back of the head. Down to 42 HP. No armor. Not much of a chance. There is now 2 players next to him. No, it would be nice, but he isn't allowed to get that far. Treemeister, he comes out, popping his head out, takes him down, and equalizes the scoreline, 11-11. Good from Sussex Sharks. Sussex Sharks.
The Sussex Sharks have done it again.
So sussy, honestly.
They look good. They look good, and immediately my 16-10 prediction completely wrong, as we've now at a point where it can't come true. 11-11. Neither side can actually get 10 rounds at this point, unless for some reason we give them a forfeit. But Testing misses a shot again, and Drop takes advantage of it. Testing can't afford to continue missing these AWP shots. We've seen twice now his head get ripped off because he's missed the AWP shot. Sidak could have pushed through that Molotov, but instead opts to back away. The smarter of the 2 choices, but this long spot is being taken advantage of. Mainslayer is pushing up hard. Sidak getting the kill on Treemeister, pushing aggressively as well. Mainslayer doesn't see anything on short either. This might well be an incredible B-Rap. Mainslayer 100% is going to be the linchpin in this round, but Vex simultaneously is doing a very similar thing. The 2 players on short need to watch for this position to be pushed into. Otherwise, this could become very, very dodgy for both teams, and I hope we can see Mainslayer at this point because he might be able to get a kill. He might be looking around. He does see the player there. He's looking for more. Vex does actually get 2 coming out of connector. Both linchpins go at the same time, and Vex gets both players on short. That was a really awful time for the Observer, as both players getting kills. Siren getting 1 on Blitz 2. Mainslayer, the 1 player that I said was going to be so important in this round, is the 1 player that's left alive. Botches the smoke. Gets shot down from heaven. Vex gets the kill. Sussex Sharks pull ahead for the first time in the second half, and half Natty head tappers, after looking so promising in the mid-round, just disappear.
He just beansed it entirely. But also, Vex, right? You've got to give it to him. He was the guy who pushed through and got very, perhaps lucky, perhaps just pure skill with the spray, getting both of them. Shuts down entirely. As you said, that was half Natty's round, but it just falls apart, and perhaps a bit of panic getting towards the players from half Natty if they're not hitting their shots, and it's just not falling to pieces. Not quite yet. It's certainly still has the potential, and there's still only 1 round down, but in a round like that, they should have had it by any means, but not quite. And last, the next round is on. They're moving forward. They're chasing down the AWP, and this is a lot of trouble for Testing. He's going to hit his shots, hits the first, can't get the second one off. It's a man advantage towards the T side. You know what they say? You know what? Going slow is not quite working. Let's turn up a notch. Put down the pedal and just go faster. That's exactly what we do. Straight into the sight. Shots missed by Mainslayer. Now it's a 3-on-3. Flash is coming out. Rogue not blinded. But there's a team kill coming out. Siren finishes off GWX by execution through the back of the head. Siren takes down Rogue on long, and off the smoke slightly misses. Both players are here on toilet. Drop and miss the AWP shot. Sidak trying to go for the spray. Gets the first one. Drop misses a second shot again, playing on the angle. Siren knows he's there. But he can't do anything. Drop just nails him straight in the face. And half Natty take such a chaotic round.
The chaos works to their advantage, though. When you're on a force buy round, that's exactly what you want. Half Natty, they looked incredible as they're pushing forward. Sussex caught scrambling. They had no idea where to go, no idea what to do. The players weren't rotating quick enough up the stairs. And then when they did come in, the botched smoke really did lose it for them. The Orc playing on short would have had no chance if that had have happened properly. But now Sussex, they're not seeing the advantage is getting pushed even further with a rush on towards B. Siren playing on the barrels, doesn't get anything for his troubles. GWS at least gets a kill on Psyduck. Vex Molotov now is going to burn slowly to death. I don't know if this Molotov's going to reach him, though. He does manage to stay in position. The Molotov, the second one comes through. He still gets the kill on Rogue. Treemeister as well gets the headshot on Drop. At least Blitz finally gets the kill on the player on short. They know where Treemeister is. The Orc picked up. Sussex, how have they done so much damage in that round? The rush on towards B looked like it was definite. And half Natty head tappers, they're going to get the 13th round, but the economic loss, the loss of life, is ridiculous.
They'll certainly be going into a recession after that. Not looking so hot. They will have money to buy, but like we said, they need to build it up, and it's certainly not getting built up. That's very well played from Sussex Sharks. Not much of an investment, yet a lot gained back from them. And even, that's disregarding the Orb. So much damage done against the T side, but as I said, they get to keep the Orb as well. That's a lovely 5 grand weapon that they've just been able to pick up. Take it through to the next round. Certainly helps out with the nades in that department, and, well, they're going to be buying through. Treemeister's got a deal that he's saved through. Doesn't drop it towards the Orb, but it doesn't matter too much as they look to strike back. And this is going to be a very, very important round. If Sussex take this, the economy almost broken on half Natty, and they're 3 away from taking the win, taking that dub. But half Natty,
whichever,
if they beat Sussex, they're that close at 2 rounds away.
Whichever team wins this one, they're set up for success, really. Both teams are. This is the round. This is the one they'll look back on and think this is what we should have won. And well opened up by Drop, testing once again, overextending with the Orb and not hitting his shots. Half Natty, player up, and on the T side, that's very, very important. Still brewing and festering, these players just watching towards different sites and hoping that potentially Sussex try and play for an information play, because if they do just sit on the sites, it's going to be advantage to the T's, really. 5 versus 3 or 5 versus 2 on either site is always going to be somewhat of an advantage. GWS is going to swing wide, gets 1, gets 2, gets 3! That's a triple spray down. Sussex Sharks, they make it from a 4 versus 3 into basically nothing but half Natty. How are they picking up these kills? 3 more in advance! And it's a 1 versus 2 all of a sudden. Drop on 81 HP, Psyduck only 25. This M4A4 is in an awful spot as well, with the door needing to be open. He's going to make noise if he does need to push on towards the site, and half Natty are going to hear this. They know where he is now. The Orb's watching towards the site. I don't know what this round was.
What this round is still going on. Vex has the kit. Only 1 flash though, and this is going to be very difficult to get into. They heard him drop into the water. They know exactly where he is, and he's trying to do this so slowly. But time is running out, but that flick takes the headshot through the edge of the wood, and Psyduck solo, 25 HP, sitting in the water, and he can't go anywhere. He is trapped, and Vex has no idea. He drops the flash and goes for the full defuse, and Psyduck doesn't take, or does take the bite, I guess, and swings out, takes the fight, just about gets the round. But that was absolutely chaos. What is that? What's going on? Like,
that's CS is what that is. I loved every second of that. Unfortunately, means that Sussex very much have a lot to play against. They're going to be taking this one to overtime at best, unless they pull something incredible out of somewhere. I mean, Vex has fought for some reason. No other players have. Swinging wide too, trying to get this kill. He's made noise that he does have the M4A1S. Testing goes down. Vex gets 1, gets 2 in fact, and picks up the AK-47, pushing the advantage! Oh my god! Picks up another kill! It's a 4 versus 2 all of a sudden!
Well, I mean, never say never, eh? He certainly turned around and thought, you know what? I don't want this game to end. I'm having fun. And he just does that. Gets 1 kill, gets that second one, trades the AK, and then thinks, no, I can hear you reloading. You're not getting away. And pushes that. Like, the smartness. There could have been another guy out there, but he just went for it, and it pays off so beautifully. And that was a 4v2, and another player has got a gun. Treemeister coming out to collect an AK. They could go kill an M4 from Connector, but they're still quite cautious about that position, as a player could be in there, and they would be right, as Mainslayer is slowly working towards it. Drop is holding it. He does turn around to take down Vex, and that's one of the rifles finished off. And it's not over. It's still continuing. It's 35 seconds left on the clock. and starts to heat up for GWS. He's going to be pushed out from the molly. And they may not have heard him shift across the long. Rebrands could be a bit of a distraction here. He does damage, but no kill. And Drop is looking for long, but turns away at the wrong time. Takes it down, 20 seconds left. And with a deagle, GWS can do absolutely nothing more. Mainslayer rips his head off. And from behind is Siren with only a USP. And Mainslayer's not checking for it. Siren's biding his time. He's taking it so slow. But he swings out. He's planting. He can't quite get the kill. 17 HP left, and Siren can't get it. Mainslayer finishes him off. What are you doing?
Oh my god! What a way for that round to end. It was so good from both teams. I cannot believe that the USP didn't get it. Just whiffing at the last. Half Natty on match point. And do you believe it, Ad? Not a single timeout called.
Oh my god,
I can't believe it. I mean, with the amount of pressure at this point in the game, you would think, and still Vex is still pushing through, he's still getting more kills, he's still going for more, Treemeister gets a kill too, Blitz goes down, Rogue gone, Psyduck also, it's only Drop and Mainslayer left once again, and potentially 2 versus 5, I mean, I can't discount anything at this point.
You really can't. You really can't. Absolutely balmy as testing, just finds another shot, takes down Mainslayer, and it's left on Drop, and he's been fantastic so far. But this is perhaps a bit too much to ask, especially when they're all around the place. They're all across him, and I think that was Vexed hearing him hopping around, and he can't even get one shot off. Testing will take him down, and honestly, what are these rounds doing? What's going on? I don't know, and I'm wrong with my predictions at least as well. I said 16-13 Sussex Sharks, and they could still win it. 2 more rounds to overtime, and then we're going to overtime. It's always the games we choose to cast, but you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. They're absolutely fantastic. And you cannot call it. Half Natty head tappers. Their money's just so low. Blitz is on $100. He's bought armor and a P250 for some reason. I don't know why. Utter madness. No timeouts called still, as you said. And well, they're going to win with basically Glocks. If not, they're not the greatest by next round, and it could work out because there isn't a single CT player on A at the moment. There's just testing and connector, and this is starting to look a little awkward.
A pretty perfect avoidance from both teams. I mean, Mainslayer already pushing in behind. None of these players are watching for anything at all. Testing still thinks they're pushing through. And there's a player now finally coming up the stairs. He's been watched. The clock starts whipping, but players from either side. GWS lucky to even get one at that point. Psyduck trying to get the kill on towards Site 2. It doesn't really matter that he's not got armor when he's playing a headshot angle like this, but backs away. Treemeister getting the kill on his teammate who came in to assist. The bomb not in a wonderful spot either. Testing gets his head taken away. Blitz dies. Treemeister getting the kill on Psyduck. At least the bomb's down, but Half Natty, I mean, Blitz is not going to be able to buy in the next round. At least Rogue, Psyduck, Drop, Mainslayer, all of them can, but Blitz is going to be on a bit of a dodgy one, potentially. Armor Galil maybe might pick up a Scout instead, just to buy a little bit more utility. We'll see, but it was a little bit of a strange decision to go for the Armor P250, as you highlighted.
Yeah, very odd. Well, yeah, as you said, he gets a Galil, only 2 nades, not the best, but that plant, so crucial. That's perhaps a bit of a misplay from Sussex. Obviously, they didn't quite know the economy of Half Natty head tappers, but giving up that plant meant that Half Natty can now buy, they can now get the nades. Not a huge amount of nades, but better than nothing, and they can get those AKs. So that bomb plant, despite something so little, was so important. They certainly could have won that. Not quite sure what Sussex was doing, especially on such an odd round that they went for such a gambit to just sit on B and have one guy just holding Fountain. Very odd, but, well, again, the round is over, and we're on to the final rounds, possibly the final round of the game, the final round of regulation and regular time, I guess. As Vex is up very close around the smoke in toilets, and there's 5 guys just mere meters away, and he doesn't stick around much longer to see it. His Mainslayer takes him down, testing and hits him up close, and he hits the shots. You've got to hit those, and he does. Misses a second, though, and Psyduck will punish him. They keep that man advantage. His Drop is leading the way. He's the AWPer, but he's opening it up. And that can opener is just so efficient. GWS swinging out, continuing to spray, but can't get the kill. Psyduck's already swung out wide, and he's nailed him. 2v4 retake made into a 1v4 Treemeister. They already know exactly where he is. They're swinging out, and Psyduck will hit that headshot, and he will, well, seal the deal. 16-14, so close for Sussex Sharks to come back, but not quite finish it fully. And it's going to be devastating, but oh my god, what a game! That was... Oh... This is why I cast CS. It's just chaos. It makes me lose my mind, but it's spectacular.
There's no other word for it. 16-14. I did an anticlimactic final round, but 16-14. Nothing. We deserved overtime. I think watching that, we deserved it. It was so good from both teams. Each of them had rounds where they popped off. Vexed, absolutely the MVP for Sussex Sharks Black. Half Natty head tappers. I think all of them were firing on all cylinders. Right. We saw some great plays from Drop. We saw very, very good ones from Mainslayer as well. But that was beautiful for our first game coming into this. Whoever picked this for our first game did a wonderful job.
Yeah. Whoever picked this, honestly, like what a genius man, foresight and good taste, I guess. Impeccable. But yeah, what a way to start the season, right? 16-14, a relatively new team, as we said about, and a relatively oldish team who we've seen before perform just quite well and just clashing, smashing, and on overpass. You know, perfect map for it, right? Not too tactical, not too buggy, as we said, and it just worked out so beautifully. Some absolutely fantastic rounds, and honestly, I take commiserations to Sussex Sharks Black. They're obviously still in the tournament. It is Swiss. It doesn't matter too much. Obviously, you'd want to win the rounds, but it's not detrimental to their campaign. But they certainly could have won that, and I think that's very promising for the future. Considering you said half Natty head tappers took UWE to, was it triple overtime, and Sussex Sharks Black could have won that. There was a few shots missed and a few odd rounds where timing just wasn't great. They certainly could have won that. If they tighten this up, which they will throughout the rest of this season, obviously, they've got a good chance at this. It's certainly a competitor that you cannot rule out.
I wish I'd counted the number of clutches in that game as well. It was so many 1vx's that we saw. But anyway, that is all for this game. There is another one to come after a quick break that we're going to have. But it was absolutely lovely, this first one. So I hope that the next one's going to be just as good. Fingers crossed it will be. That will be our last game of Swiss as well. But anyway, I'm talking about all of this. We do have a quick break. So we'll be right back.
Nice.
Ooh.
Oh, it's always like this.
live 17 floors up, and when it rains, I can feel those drops in my window pane. Lets me know that I'm still here. But when the sun comes out, I will go outside. When it breaks through clouds, I will give a smile. Lets me know that I'm still here. Sometimes I want to run away, to find good times again, to find all my old friends. Good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and up, and when I cry, I can see this city through my watered eyes. Lets me know that I'm still here. When my eyes clear up, I will go outside. I'll imagine you're still by my side. Lets me know that I'm still here. Sometimes I want to run away, to find good times again, to find all my old friends. Run away, to the nearest place where I'll find all my old friends. Good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and good times. I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again, and this town with the speakers loud and the radio, playing old Sublime that we stole online, every verse we know. And we hadn't had a clue if we'd make it by noon or even where we'd go. We don't need a map, everywhere is home. We don't need a map, everywhere. The tank said E and we all agree that we're just too broke to fill it back up, so we left your truck on the road with Roan. Then we found a motel with a cigarette smell, so we knew we're close. But we don't need a map, everywhere is home. We don't need a map, everywhere is home. Is where I can find some peace of mind to make my own way. I don't know where I will end up, but I'll find it someday. Keep on searching, engine burning while we're turning it around. But don't get left behind on the road. But don't get left behind on the road. Don't get left behind on the road. Don't get left behind on the road. We play Tupac Sharak and we turn the music up when he raps about hope. We hold our thumbs arms high and hope someone is kind enough to give us all a ride. And we wouldn't have a clue if we'd make it back to or even where we'd go. But we don't need a map, everywhere is home. A Ford stopped on the street, said, where you trying to be? We said we don't really care, we'll know it when we're there. We took on down the road, he flipped on his radio, Santeria started slow, so we knew that we were close. Home is where I can find some peace of mind and make my own way. I don't know where I will end up, but I'll find it someday. Keep on searching, engine burning while we're turning it around. But don't get left behind on the road. 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 Home is where I can find some peace of mind and make my own way. I don't know where I will end up, but I'll find it someday. Keep on searching, engine burning while we're turning it around. But don't get left behind on the road.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Newell Winter Winter Season 2022. I am Zach, joined by Ant Pulio today. We have our second match of the evening. Ant, how are you feeling for our second game after such a good one in the first as well?
I mean, I'm hyped. I had to take a minute. Well, I say 15-minute break to it, just to chill out. Just like, you know what? It's cool. It's good. It's cool. It's nice. But also, like, I mean, on the one hand, that was fantastic. It was brilliant to watch. Fantastic from both teams. And this is why I'm aghast at, right? It's fantastic games like that. And on the other hand, I mean, this game's going to be good, right? Like, if it's not as good, it's going to be a bit deflating. I want another one of those. You know, I want to see it go hard. And as to put it perfectly, but yes, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully it will be a fantastic matchup as we do see KCL Lions versus the Podbots of Southampton. So it's looking to be a good matchup. How are you feeling? What do you think? What are you expecting?
I'm feeling good about this game. I mean, Podbots just won in their game. KCL Lions, meanwhile, lost in theirs. So we're expecting very much in terms of the top 8. Of course, this is the Swiss stage, so top 8 teams are the ones that go through. This is realistically, in this one here, whichever team loses, pretty unlikely to get through to the top 8. It's not impossible, but it's unlikely. Meanwhile, whoever wins it, pretty likely to be in there. Again, not impossible that they're somehow knocked out because a load of teams go on massive win streaks and win a lot. But because there's a lot of turbulence around these, whichever team wins, very likely to be going through to the next stage. So whatever happens, I think this is going to be a mega game. I think that we're going to see both of these teams battling it as hard as possible. And what makes it even more fun is, I know we're not quite on map bans yet, but they got the same bans. So it will be, at the end of the day, both of these teams probably going to like the map that we end up going to. So both of them are going to be on top form.
Yeah, that certainly means or makes and predicts for good CS, right? If you've got two teams that are comfortable on the map, it's going to be fun. It's going to have a lot of strats coming out, a lot of just in general smart play, people comfortable with what they're doing, and if people are comfortable, you're going to get a high level of CS, and if you have a high level of CS, it's going to be good fun. And yeah, I agree with that. Certainly looking forward to it. And as you said, both fighting for it. I believe they're both on 9 wins after the previous results. So yeah, going to be very much fighting to stay in this top 8 and fighting for a place within the playoffs. Not impossible either way for what can happen, but both teams, I mean, they're going to be trying to win. They're going to be wanting to win. They're going to have that fire and that desire, not intentional rhyming, but also the mental game, that's going to be there. But on the other hand, looking, as you said, Podbots coming off of a win, going to be pretty hyped by that. KCL just getting battered down 69 by the UWEC Strags. Going to be a different head game. So it's going to be certainly who's feeling it coming into this match and who can start feeling it, and if it's going to continue in a downward manner perhaps for KCL, as they've been quite good so far this season, so I'm sure they can bounce back, but we'll certainly have to see. It's been very, very interesting.
And worth mentioning, of course, that even though KCL lost in the last one and Podbots won, KCL lost against significantly higher level of opponent. I know that we've talked about them already tonight, but UWC Stags, of course, the team that we expect to be in and around the top, and it's the team that KCL Lions lost to, I believe, 16-9 in the last game.
16-9.
So it's very much the sort of thing where they're probably going to avoid the map that they just lost on. They did just lose on Inferno, so I think we'll likely see that one banned as well, even though it's not really a map that they love to ban all the time. But I think we're going to be jumping into map bans right now as well as we're talking about them, so we do get to see exactly what we saw. And not too surprising, Nuke, Ancient, and Vertigo all banned out straight away. Those are the maps that I've said previously, earlier on in this stream, are kind of the maps, the newer maps that end up getting, they're not new, but end up getting banned out basically every single time. And these two teams, we've seen it already. I had a look through their bans. Our lovely observer, Simba, and if you type in !talent, you'll be able to get on his socials and have a little look. He's very, very nice. But he gave me a little rundown of what their bans are before, and expecting all of those 3 to go. Then moving on, Overpass, Dust 2, Inferno being banned out by KCL Lions as well. KCL Lions, of course, just lost on Inferno, so you would expect them to ban that out. And it goes to Mirage, which is really a little bit surprising, I think, that Podbots did ban Dust 2 because they just won on it.
Yeah, very odd choice to come out, I guess. I'm assuming that they've done a bit more research, and KCL perhaps have been quite strong on Dust 2, and Podbots, I'd say, have been quite weak, but you said they just won on it, right? So perhaps odds prefer to go to Inferno or Mirage over Dust 2. Maybe they just want it and weren't too comfortable, weren't too happy, and they know KCL are quite strong in it, and they'd rather take the chances of either Inferno or Mirage, especially, as you said, because KCL just came off of a loss of Inferno on Inferno. So, yeah, perhaps slightly odds you could consider to go for Mirage over Dust 2, but we're here. Mirage, classic map, everyone knows it, everyone knows how to play it, or at least most people do. Like, these guys have been playing it for years. So, it's going to be interesting to see quite what happens and see how puggy they get, because we've said that these guys, they've been playing together however long, and everyone's well versed with Mirage at this point. You said the newer maps, but for Ancient, it's very new, right? That's in its lifetime compared to Mirage. Mirage has been out yonks forever. So everyone knows all the sort of minutiae of it, the nade spots and everything. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how much depth there is coming in if they just go for the surface level sort of basic strats and just play, or if they do bring out anything unique. Either team at least.
Yeah, and I've as well just got a message from Simba again. He's our little stats collector today. It's been very good. He's told us that KCL Lions, the last time they played Mirage was in week 3, round 1. So they're 5th game of the Swiss stage. And they won 16-2. So it's definitely a map that they're pretty proficient on. So hopefully we get to see a similar level of proficiency in this one as we do jump into our game. Podbots starting on the CT side, the other team, of course, then are picked by Podbots. It says, of course, it wasn't picked by Podbots. It's the best of one.
Mirage as well.
Team on the T side, KCL Lions on the T side on Mirage, but Key Synergy going to be the one all alone on Palace. I think this is probably going to be a mid to A split as they go immediately sprinting up of Connector.
Leading the charge, leading the frontal attack with his Glock, and you know what? Podbots having none of it. They're just falling back. They're playing very, very defensively, very passively, falling back to CT spawn and just waiting for the smokes, looking to play the retake. And they don't have a kit. That's something very interesting to say. They don't have any nades at all. They've all got armor, so they're going to have to take these fights and win them. And as soon as the smokes fade, they start firing off sharp shots. And Ham Sharks? Odd name, but, well, perfect aim. Getting lots of kills too so far. Eventually it goes down, leaving it into a 2-on-2. Ting is quite low, and they know where at least one player is, and that's Beniaz over by the ramp. He has to fall all the way back. There's still a team player over by Connector, and he's just going to get a lovely shot into Frosty. Ting does get one back, but Fahadi, nicely played, hits the headshots. And actually 4 kills from him, not bad at all.
Certainly a very nice way to start the game, and we've talked about momentum already tonight, and, well, momentum will be swinging very much in his favour once you get 4 kills on the pistol round. Podbots being a round down as well. Doesn't mean that they're out of it yet. A Deagle picked up for Arctic, same goes for Ting, and that smoke has been missed too. That is not a good smoke to miss. Allows itself to work as a little bit of a one-way. Of course, they're going to know which side he's on, so they will be spamming into it. The Molotov goes down on towards short as well. KCL Lions fully taking mid-control, an area that on Mirage is very, very important. Flash potentially going to mean that Key Synergy able to take mid-window, although he does end up missing the jump, so ends up wasting a second flash to get basically no rewards. Already shown his cards and given up where he is, but does make his way onto the A site though, so not all wasted. There is only one player here in Ting, and this Deagle will be very, very useful to potentially pick up a couple of kills if he's able to hit the shots, which it doesn't look like he's able to do at the moment, just spraying just where players used to be. Deagle used to be 2 shots to kill, now 3 shots after an update that I would call recent, but it's been about a year. Frosty giving away his position in CT spawn. Kin Synergy gets the kill, but Arctic coming in from CT spawn picks up 2 headshots in quick succession. Swinging wide to hope for more, but there's only, there's 3 players left. He does get tagged too. Down to 15 HP. Knows there's a player behind, but the swing not good enough. Oh, well, rather, the swing was good enough. Key Synergy gets the kill on Arctic, and KCL Lions, an expected second round on the board.
Very nicely played from KCL, and a good attempt from Arctic to come back into it, but unfortunately not quite good enough. Bit of damage, doesn't really mean much though, as Podbots will buy into this. No kits and quite minimal nades actually. There's only a few between them. What's that? Quite a few used up already, and only 6 left, and still got a minute 45 left on the clock. KCL looking to just completely run over them and dominate them. They do have a scout and a Mac 10 though, which isn't the ideal weapon, the most ideal weapon by far. But they can certainly do damage and get kills with them, and that's the main thing. Nades going in, smoke eventually fading, and Hamshanks, he'll get one kill to kick it off. Frosty drops the smoke, doesn't want to get burnt out, stays alive on 79 HP. As Ting falls back to back up his teammates on the A bomb side. They just completely concede mids. There's only one player in the window and one on short, and the window player, that is Frosty. Takes down Key Synergy. Slows down the attack. Halts it somewhat as there's a minute left on the clock. A few shots fired over towards CT spawn, and what do KCL do now? They're beginning to run out of nades. They've only got 3 left, but that opening may just be exactly what they needed. Frosty taken down. But what do they push?
Looks like A is the direction for Hoodie, getting another kill. Very important for them. Ting in CT spawn, the one player that has to get kills in this position, and his teammates rotate in. Q getting the one on Chiva, though. Very, very important for KCL Lions to continue their hopes in this one. 2 versus 2, really, from a position where KCL Lions almost look down and out as Arctic and Ting just jumping together and making sure that they're able to take the site together as the bomb is planted for Connector and Ramp. Q going backwards and might well just walk into the hands of Arctic. In fact, Arctic walked straight into his hands. It's a 1 versus 2. All of a sudden, Ting, from a position that looked quite good, is slowly falling away. And even though he gets the headshot, the M4A1S doesn't kill him one as much as he might hope it to. 3-0 to KCL Lions after a very solid showing and a very good comeback from them after a little bit of a wonky mid push.
That was Podbots' round to lose. They had, was a 2-man advantage at least.
They did, yeah.
And they had both sites locked down. They still had a guy in window, guy in short, and they beans it. They just give it up. I don't know what Chiva was looking at. He was just kind of sitting in window, just staring into mid when they knew there was a guy already in jungle, at least one guy in jungle. Slightly odd, but, well, it is what it is. We do move on, and Podbots are lucky to, perhaps not in the best fashion, as they are looking to lose another round. Jin finding a nice easy kill onto Ting, just swinging out. Hamshanks will get a bit of revenge. Takes down one, but with only a Mac 10 on the floor and a 5-7 in his hand, he can't really do too much. Chiva will eventually find a kill back, taking down Ku. Deagle headshot certainly does bite, but the 8 bomb site is the tease. But look at this. Key Synergy. He's got an orb, but he's in the top of mid, so he's going to have to try and get somewhere and plant it, but time isn't their side. There's still a minute left on the clock. Arctic pushing forward, can't really do too much. Does get the dink off, but Hoodie comes out on top. And KCL Lions have a bit of a pricey round, losing 3 guys to essentially just pistols, but it's a round win, and that's what you need.
Ultimately, if they lose 3 players every single round, but still win them all, it doesn't really matter. It's still a 16-0, so hopefully it doesn't come to that. Of course, Podbots very much got some fight in them. 5 players picking up the M4A1Ss as well. Full utility too, but that's been spotted by Jin. He knows that there are players there. Still dinked up, dropped down to 8 HP. In fact, I take that back, dropped down to death. Benyas and Key Synergy, though, picking up 2 kills of their own. The fights in mid end up going kind of in favor of KCL Lions at the end of the day. The T side with 2 for 2. It only gives them more information. It gives them less room, Podbots, to work with and grab their own information plays. But Ku maybe going to be actioned on as he sits underneath. At the moment, Chiva may be looking the wrong way as he comes out. It really is a fight to see what can happen. He does end up getting the kill. Ku pushes out just the wrong time. Doesn't manage to get the kill in the end. Only gives away exactly where he is. Still swinging into it. Still hoping for more. Does end up picking up Frosty somehow. And Benyas missing the shot on towards Connector. It's pandemonium in mid.
Pandemonium is certainly a word for it. As somehow Podbots get away with just a kill and not getting completely ruined for nothing. As that was very, very close. The timing was just not quite in KCL's favour. But you know what? They make it a 2 for 2, or 1 for 1 trade at least in mid. And now it is 2v2 with both guys waiting around B. And they're just about ready to stroll into an open site. Hamshanks realises this. He is very slowly rotating across, or at least holding snipers. And eventually begins to stroll through the kitchen. As KCL look to get to the site first. 20 seconds left. Hamshanks waiting for them to stroll through, but they won't. They won't. It doesn't look like they will, at least. They're looking to just plant the bomb. There's 13 seconds left. They are checking the site. Molotov going down, but Ku spots a player already in kitchen. He'll drop the molly a bit more shallow instead. And now he's the first point of contact. They know at least 1 player's there. They don't know the second one's there as well, though. As Ku does get both in the end. Yorba doesn't even need to fire. Does miss 1 shot, but not relevant. As KCL make it 5-0. Once again, a round Podbots could have taken, but they can't quite get over.
Yeah, a quick fade to black. There we
And
go. We're back.
fading back. There we go.
But you can see the importance of the 2-for-2 trades at the start. Podbots ended up in a 2 versus 2 by the end, with 2 players having to kind of choose a site that they went towards. So they opted to go towards this again, a one-way. But they had to choose one of either A or B to go towards, as Chiva actually picks a kill on Key Synergy. You know what? I'm going to stop talking about the last round because it seems like it's all popping off already as Q gets a kill on Ting on towards the A site. That smoke being missed too is really bad for the players to come in and support on the A bomb site. 2 players have actually already pushed out. They know that the A bomb site is at least somewhat where they're going to be going towards. Arctic gets the headshot in the end on Fahudi, and that's the bomb down in the middle of sight. This allows Podbots to start rotating in, every single player to come towards this position. The CT spawn has been fully opened up. The smoke goes down anyway. And actually, it will stop Chiva from managing to get a quick and easy kill. He'll have to jump on top of Ticket Booth to maybe get a single kill at this point, and he does hear the bomb starting to go down, but this is a very predictable angle for him to be working from. Ku not ready for it. Jin on the Mac 10 in a 1 versus 2. At least he can take solace in the fact that neither of these players have head armor as he dropped back in towards Connector and going to be waiting for them to start defusing the bomb before he makes any plays of his own. He jumps up, he spots a player, and now he knows that the bomb defuse is going to be coming through. Just needs to hear for the noises. The flash doesn't catch anything, and Frosty gets the AUE kill. Podbots, what a way to pick up your first round. 5-1. Well, granted that the bomb gets defused, you'd hope it does. And a very, very solid showing on an eco round from Podbots.
A little bit of plus right from Shiva. That's a fantastic round from them, right? Arctic, he's got 5 kills so far. I'm pretty sure at least 3 of those from a Deagle, right? If not more. So just nailing shots with that. And I was going to say, until Podbots did it this round, or, well, not essentially the whole team, but Hamshanks pushing somewhere. I think he pushed ramp, right? Got an AUE, brought it out, and did something, making KCL uncomfortable. And that's what you need to do on the CT side. You can't just sit there and wait for them, CT the snipers every round, throw a one-way. You've got to do something. That's exactly what he did. Once again, he's looking to do it again, this time in mid. Hamshanks does get one, Ting gets another, and Frosty, he'll chime in too. They do get 3 kills, lose 2 players in the meantime, but it's a man advantage, and that's what matters. As now the T side is in shambles, the bomb is dropped to the top of mid. CTs don't quite know that, but the T's will have to go and collect it. As Beniaz, he'll head towards that position, put it on his back, and wander back towards a Jin sitting in Palace, a Galil as well, and not a nade between the 2 of them, so this is going to be very difficult to get into. It wouldn't surprise me if they just try and save it. $50 on Jin, 150 on Beniaz. This could be the opening they're looking for, but it's not. Arctic instead wins out. Wins the fight, and you know what? Smart drops back. 3v1, you don't need to push. If he pushes, then it's a 2v1, and can get much, much more awkward. But in this situation, it's, well, bountifully more comfortable for the CT side. And Beniaz, what does he do now? What are his options? He's looking to go for it. And with 35 seconds left, why not? Well, that's why not. He misses the shot. Now they know exactly where he is.
I think it makes sense that he went for it, though, because obviously if he had kept that money, or kept that AUE, he would have still had, only about $50, while the rest of his team would be on about 2k. They would have ecoed, and then next round, everyone else would have bought, unless he saved again, everyone else would have bought, and he would have been on an eco again. So, not the most disastrous to try and pick up some kills, a little bit disastrous to not get any, but KCL Lions making their intents pretty obvious as they start looking towards the apartments, and the Glocks, the P250s, the Tech 9s make it relatively obvious as to where they're going to go, and that is the largest dunk I think I've seen in a long time. The smoke goes down on bench. Chiva picking up kills as they start pushing out as well. Arctic gets one. More kills coming through. That's a very clean round. Podbots with 5, with absolutely no response from the T side.
I think one player got to the floor by Van and then immediately died. I don't think the rest of them... Maybe two. But I don't think any of them really got anywhere. Barely got off the balcony and, as you said, just got shut down. Ran straight into a wall, and that wall has a name of Podbots. That's what they go by, at least, and they're looking to come into much better form now. Starting to build up a bit of a bank and starting to build up quite a few wins. And that's exactly what we need to do on CT side of Mirage, and at least keep the CT, or the T, sorry, economy quite low. 5 AKs amongst the 5 players, not many nades, as Hamshanks will get 1 kill. Ting swings out to help him as well, and both players just completely shut down that attack out of Palace. 3 guys out, 3 guys dumped into a very, very early grave. And Ku is trying to make an impact in mid, and Shiva is having absolutely none of it. They know exactly where Key Synergy is now. Arctic a bit too eager. He will go down, but he's the only casualty of the round as Frost will finish him off. 4 players left alive on a buy from KCL. That is so much better. Fantastic from Podbots.
Fantastic indeed, and I think it's now that the T-side aren't being given the liberty of taking mid. All that's changed is that Podbots have said, you know what, we're going to take aggressive mid control. KCL Lions have realised this. They've not been able to fight into it, and every time they do, they're getting shut down. It's happened again. The Orps picked up a kill. The flash comes over, at least does allow them to push out in towards middle, but the nade is going to do huge damage here. Jin down to 14 HP after just a huge nade. Ting does eventually get headshot. Benyas as well getting a kill on Hamshanks, but the areas are covered. Jin still on 14 HP, still is very low as he's pushing forward. 4 and 9 so far, not having a wonderful start, not really going off swinging so far. It may well be a remnant of the last game, and Arctic playing around this smoke. This is 2 players so close to each other. It's almost a little bit frustrating when you see them like this, so close to one another, and that's a nice little headshot as Jin finally does fall. Podbots with 3 players alive. It started to look a little dicey in the middle. The T-side did get a few kills, but the Orps picked up. Everything saved, and well, the economy gets even stronger for the CT side.
Getting very, very strong indeed. Shiva almost on 12 grand. 100 grand short. $100 short, sorry. Frosty almost there as well. Lovely smoke coming out. That's very nice. Nice deep smoke into window. The Orb are going to sit there anyway. And fire off a shot doesn't quite connect, but nevertheless, it's a thought that counts, eh? As Molly is dropped underneath window. Changes towards Palace and essentially gives up mid control at this point in time, waiting for these smokes to fade. KCL not quite making too much use of it at the moment, just sitting at the top of mid, waiting for any counter pushes. And Podbots, they're playing well. They're playing restrictive, and they're not giving anything back to KCL. In very smart fashion, at least. As KCL looking to throw out the nades once again. Look to push. Frosty playing very patiently, just waiting for that smoke. And the question is, does he try to go for another peek? This could get quite dangerous if he does, but he's not. Playing it smart, playing it passive. Exactly what he needs to do in this situation. 5v5 minute left on the clock, and it's KCL who need to do the work. The bomb's still at the top of mid. Fahudi's slowly creeping out of ramp, and he'll win the fight versus Ting. Drops the molly, but he doesn't realise that Hamshanks is right here in the corner as well. Right in the sandwich, and this could be a perfect position, or it could just go absolutely terribly, but it doesn't. That's at least 1 kill guaranteed. And looking to get some more. Frosty's helping out, taking the player down on stairs, and Key Synergy's looking for him. Arctic's chiming in though in the meantime, and Key Synergy, he's left alone with Jin.
Well, there's play behind us, CT.
Yes. Beautifully played, but it doesn't work out. Jiva checks it. He's so smart. Turns around, nails Jin by some just magical ghostly intuition. Completely saves the rounds there. That would have been everything. Would have been over there if Jin could have just got a bit further, shut down all 3 players, but he doesn't. Chiva just going psychic. And now it's down to Key Synergy, and it could still be over. It could still be a win for KCL. 1v2. He spots at least 1 player and hits the first shot, sprays through the box, and hits Chiva directly in the heads. What a clutch from Key Synergy. A 4K coming out of him, and he keeps KCL on top.
There is no way he's just won that. And after KCL as well, Podbots played it so well in middle. They didn't go for it. It was the round where KCL sent 3 players into top mid. Podbots, they just gave it up. They let them use all their utility. They sat back. They kept it all their util as well for the retake. And then just at the last, because they had an AWPer and an M4 player, it was only on the M4 really to get the kill. The AWPer only acting as bait. Well, unlucky really not to take that one. I think KCL really have got a little bit lucky. I mean, individual brilliance, right? But I don't think that's going to work round after round. Jin in this position might catch Frosty unawares. He's not caught him so far, and actually does shoot the AWP too. Jin knows that he's here, but takes the damage, I think. Has he taken damage there? I think he's been potentially spotted.
I think Podbots got damaged a bit, but I think, I don't know how by or whom by. He's now in jungle, so I'm not quite sure what happened there, but he's tagged slightly. It might have been from Renade earlier on, but just spray coming through.
Either way, they know that they can be here at this point. The Molotovs as well going down on the B bomb site, going to catch Podbots out because they've given up jungle, because they don't know where players are in the mid window. They've kind of lost all of control, and well, that push up short shouldn't be working with a Mac 10, but it absolutely is. As Benyas gets the kill as well with the AWP. It's all left on Hamshanks, the player that was sat inside a sandwich last round. Almost very aptly named at that point, but now all the way over on the A-bomb site and has to just bow out of this one. Knows that Benyaz and Key Synergy likely to win it. And this is pretty lovely to see someone save at this point. It wasn't something we saw so much in the first map. People went for diffuses constantly. This one, players playing a little bit smarter, looking at the economy on the whole and thinking, you know what, we can buy next round. Chiva can drop people. Frosty can potentially drop someone. And you know what, if I save this, I can potentially drop someone as well. So just playing it smart and making sure that they hold on to their money.
Yeah, that's a very good point, as you say. Chiva basically on 8 grand, Frosty on 5 grand. So even if they have the minimum loss bonus, which obviously they don't, they can still have a pretty good, but a very good buy coming out from them. So looking to stop that versus KCL. And KCL, they've got, well, 2 guys who survived, so 3 guys dying. It's not the best build-up so far, but, you know, we'll take what they can get. And very unfortunate there, again, from Podbots, just losing that fight. Chiva losing versus the MAC-10. It's unfortunate. It happens sometimes. The guy's just running and gunning and getting caught up by the AWP. I think that was Ting, but it happens. And they hope to strike back with rapid hostility and ferocity, and that's certainly the name of the game. Frosty taking down Ku, flashes and smokes going out doesn't make a single difference. And a delay from Hamshanks. What are you doing, bud? He just waits a second, and that second costs him. Ku, he just turns around and rips his head off, and that should have been a guaranteed kill. I don't know if that was just lag or something or what, but that seemed to me that he delayed slightly, impressing for the headshot. But either way, Ting eventually gets the trade, but he's done some damage already. That's a kill, at least, for the T's, and Benyaz has got a bit more space to work with. They know underneath is clear. Benyaz is getting a bit more aggressive, misses a very, very narrow shot. And he knows exactly where someone is now, as Arctic looks to rotate around to CT. The T's are quite intent on hitting this site, as all 3 line up here. Key Synergy and Connector as well. He can be a pretty good flank here to try and cut off any sort of a rotation, especially with Frosty so close, as Frosty looks to try and peek out, but he's not taking it. Molly going in, and the swing from Ting is a beautiful thing. He gets 1 kill. Frosty with USP as well. Left up to Benyaz, and he can do absolutely nothing. Beautifully played from Podbots there. God, couldn't do anything better than myself, honestly.
Really beautiful play. And yes, I mean, just lovely to watch. They're really coming into that so far, and it's been very, very good. I mean, 6 rounds, they're considering the start, I think they can be happy with what they've achieved, and hopefully we see it go to, you know, 8 for one of these teams rather than a quick 9-6, because I think both of these teams have absolutely deserved a half for them. I mean, KCL Lions on the Deagles now, their economy pretty much in the bin. We'll be able to buy next, even if they do lose this one, as Ku going to be prying towards middle as well. And once again, Podbots giving it up.
Again, smart. You know, I wouldn't fault it. If you've got 5 guys running down the middle with guns, not with burgers, they're pretty intent on killing you. You know, playing fast and furious. You don't need to give up an AWP for that. You don't need Frosty to just sit in window and fire up 1 shot, and then that's it.
Ooh,
you do need people like that doing that, perhaps. That's very nice. Arctic just pushing forward, taking the initiative, taking down Jin. That's map control and info found. But playing passively, not giving up the guns, is exactly what you need to do. It's very well played from Podbots, not getting too aggressive. They have given up the bomb site as Key Synergy nails a shot into Ting. Does open it up, but he doesn't expect Hamshanks to be in the corner. He's still here, he's still alive. And he's not quite giving up the site to plant on yet. And even if he could, well, the bomb's not there. All the way back to spawn. They've got to pick it up. Benyaz eventually collects it. 30 seconds left, and another Molly comes out. And they can't... Well, the plant can't be stopped. I say it can't be stopped, but actually Arctic does temporarily delay it. Gets 1 kill. Benyaz with a trade, but Hamshanks, who better than Hamshanks to close it up. Takes him down and brings it back to 7-7, an even half, with 1 round left to play.
Every single player on the CT side firing on all cylinders, it seems. We're getting a pretty good display from all of them, showing just how good they are. Of course, this is the one to really see who does definitely get into the top 8. Whoever wins this, very, very likely to go through, as these kills coming over the top. Oh, Chiva. Lovely to get 2 of those kills there. I love to see that boost. And, well, KCL Lions don't. as 2 players die instantly. At least they do end up picking him off in the end, but taking a lot of damage. Jin on top mid, down to 15 HP, continually pushing that advantage the CT side as Frosty finishes him off with the nade, looking towards underpass. That's a kill on Key Synergy too, and Benyaz stuck between a rock and a hard place. All of his teammates are dead. There's only 1 dead for Podbots, and he's thinking, what happened? It's only been 45 seconds.
Well, 45 seconds can be a very long time sometimes, and a lot of events can certainly happen very, very rapidly as Benyaz is trying to stay alive, trying to do anything, and he can't. Hamshank swinging out, getting the final kill around, and sealing at least a temporary advantage, 8-7 in this half towards Podbots. And it's looking a lot better for me. Look at that scoreboard there. 5 in a row initially for KTL to start off, and then since then, they've only got 2, while Podbots have gotten 8. So after that initial run, just sort of slowed down, quietened down, just eventually lost momentum. KCL have been very quiet and somewhat struggling, so we'll have to see if that momentum can be built up again in the second half, or if they're going to struggle once again. And obviously it is the CT side, which is usually preferred. Arctic somewhat struggling with the smokes there, but we'll have to see. KCL, they do have Jin with a kit and a nade. Not something you always see too commonly, but let's see if it does go to good news. And he throws it, and nothing happens. Benyaz, he gets nothing as well. Hamshank shuts him down, and once again it's an ace split. This time, it's out of Podbots, and for Hoodie, he can only get 1 kill. There's a player in CT Key Synergy, that's his name, and he's got at least 1 kill, looking for more. 3-on-3, and he's trying oh so desperately, just tapping away, and gets 1 more. Down so low, but still alive, and eventually he gets finished off by Arctic, who's just running into his face. The CTs can't stop the plant, and well, apparently they can.
Maybe they can.
Frosty a bit too scared. Playing around the box is just complete chaos. Once again, anarchy all over the place. Arctic getting 1 more kill, and eventually get 2, a 4K for him. In the pistol round, 17 kills overall, and Podbox, they extend that advantage by 2 rounds.
I can't believe the bomb didn't go down. That was the one thing I was expecting. I mean, pretty much the same thing we saw in the first half, just with a little bit more finesse, I think, from the T side. The smokes going down on short and jungle, the dropping of the smokes. You couldn't see my camera, but I did a little chef's kiss as I saw it. Very happy with that. I mean, just good T-sided play. I think the one mistake there, not pushing in towards CT, of course, they didn't know how many players were there. They didn't know that it was going to cause as much issue as it did, especially as a player actually ended up pushing through the short smoke. But well played from Podbots, and they knew exactly how to play it, doing a lot of damage. Hamshanks too, gets 2 very, very low. Benyaz as well, dies to Ting on, I believe that is B apartments, or B underpass actually, as flashes go through. That's going to be a flash on towards top connector too for Ting to peek in, or maybe not. A player peeks in window and gets the head ripped off very, very quickly. Big shave from Demon Barbara Fleet Street very quickly, as Hamshanks as well, getting a kill on Jin, who I believe now has died literally every single round so far, which, yeah, not a great one. Not a great stat to have, eh?
Yeah, that's I'd agree with that. Dying every round. Jin